Hello and welcome to my scrap room, my squeaky door. I have changed a few things in my scrap room, not too many, but I had a lot of requests for a updated scrap room video, so I thought it was probably about time. I'm not sure when my last one was, but the major, like the overall setup of my room is pretty much the same. I haven't moved any of the furniture around since the last time, but I have moved things around since last time, so I thought I would share that stuff with you. It's almost impossible to change the overall setup of my room at this point without removing or changing it in a significant way, and I'm pretty pleased with the way I have it set up. I'm lucky enough to have a very large room. I don't really need a room this big, but this is the size of the room that was available, so this is what I have. I went with it. And so I do have this huge table. I think it's 17 feet. Is that right? Yeah, I think it's 17 feet. I measured it at one point and 17 sounds about right. Yeah, so it's a big space, and because of that, I've had the luxury of being able to really spread out. I've also been collecting these Recollections and Jetmax branded storage cubes that come in a variety of different configurations, and then you can configure them differently. So some of them have drawers, some of them have shelves, some of them have drawers and shelves, different numbers of drawers and that sort of thing. So I have a lot of those as well, and I have received a few questions about the quality of those and how they work and whether I think they're good or not, so I'll talk a little bit about that today as well. I'm going to start by just kind of going around my room and showing you the overall layout in case you haven't seen my other scrap room videos, and then I will go into a little bit more detail. This will be a long one. I'm notorious for doing long scrap room videos. I'm not even going to bother trying to make it short because then I just get stressed out about how long it is. So grab a cup of coffee and sit down if you want to watch this video, and it'll probably be in more than one part because I can talk about this stuff forever. So when you come in the door on the left side, I have this setup of Jetmax cubes. I call them Jetmax cubes. Most of the ones that I have, the newer ones are Recollections and the older ones are Jetmax. So I have this configuration that I'll show you guys in detail in a few minutes. And then I have some stuff on top of it. Then I have some pegboard. That pegboard is from my dad. That's a Stephanie Hart original right there. I haven't figured out where I'm going to put that one yet, so it's there for now. And then I have another Jetmax that's a half-depth Jetmax that's hanging on my wall. And then I have more pegboard from my dad. When my dad passed away, my mom gave me this pegboard. It was something that he used to bring to craft shows because he was a craftsman. And then I have my drawers underneath, and then that's my main workspace where my chair usually is, but right now my chair is at the computer desk. I just bring it back and forth. It doesn't have wheels because I would like kill myself going over this little this little bump in my floor. So it's not entirely finished. As you can see, there is a big gap in the drywall where we have to do a bulkhead, but we just wanted to get the room done. So we just left it without finishing the bulkhead, and the floor isn't done yet either. And I keep saying this is just like a tiled prefab subfloor that you can buy instead of building a subfloor. And so the pieces are a little on the expensive side, so we've been just kind of chipping away at buying them for our basement over time, like every couple of years or months or whatever. And so we only had this many to do this room, and so I just basically put them around the outside edge because that's where my Jetmax cubes are, so I didn't want to have to disassemble all of my whole shelving units in order to put this floor in, so we just put it around the outside. And then we'll do, these are all movable furniture pieces here, so we'll do this part eventually, but it's really hard to spend a couple $100 on something like this because I've been using this scrap room without the floor for so long that whenever we have a spare couple of $100, it's hard to say, oh, let's put it in the floor in the basement instead of putting it into something else somewhere else in the house. So that project has sort of taken a bit of a back burner, and I just wear slippers when I'm down here so that I don't stub my toe on that little edge on the floor. And also because the floor is cold there where it's concrete. So, where was I? This is why these videos are so long. Then I have my punches. So I have my embellishment center where I keep mostly media that I use. So I keep inks and sprays and paints and stuff like that I use a lot are right in there. And then I have my punch rails. And so they're there, and then I have more stuff that I use a lot, and that's new. I'll show you that in a little bit more detail. I have more Jetmax down there. I have a doll shelf there because I collect dolls as another hobby. It's not really the collection of, although I do collect them, it's more about I like to customize them and change them and do photography setups with them. I find it really fun and relaxing and rewarding, so that's something that I do. Those are my witch dolls, so they're the creepier than the rest of them. There's more scrapbooking stuff above the dolls, and then there's sewing stuff on the other side of that wall. And then that's my doll photography area and my sewing machine. And there's another workspace there. So when Tanya, my friend Tanya, comes over to scrapbook with me, she usually sits there. And then I have this wheelie cart that is a Recollections Jetmaxy type of thing with drawers in it. That's where I keep mostly my mixed media. And then I have this tray on top of it, which makes it be kind of have a surface that I can put, like I'll often put my phone or my iPad there, and then I keep my paints inside there. I do have a toaster oven in my scrap room, which might seem a little strange, but I use that for cooking polymer clay, mostly for doll accessories, but I do have a couple of mold, like silicone molds for making little buttons and flowers and stuff. I really don't do that very often with scrapbooking because I don't really enjoy making my own embellishments. I think it's cool that I can, but I don't really love the process, so I don't do it very often. But sometimes if I need a doll prop, and if, like for a photo shoot I'm doing, I'll just like quickly make something and cook it in there instead of like cooking it in my big giant oven up. It's not a big giant, my full-sized oven. I make it sound like I've got this massive oven upstairs. But you know, I don't always want to go upstairs and turn on the big oven to do that, so I just do it in my toaster oven. Over here, so there's more Jetmax down here. It's mostly sewing stuff there, and I keep my scrapbooks there. And there's some doll accessories in that bin right there, just stuff for photo shoots and whatnot. Then that's my back room. It's just a closet. It's rough-in plumbed for a bathroom. So I could put a sink in there for washing up paint and stuff, but I'm not going to show you that because it's really messy right now. But it's basically where I keep old, like household overflow items like extra paper towel and soup and like stuff. It's just like household stuff. There's some scrapbooking stuff in there, but it's mostly house stuff. So this Jetmax tower here, it's 3 units and then an IKEA shelf unit for CDs. That's all doll customizing supplies, and like it looks like I've got a ton of stuff here, but I really do like to spread out. And I mean, like you see that I've got all of these cabinets and stuff. Those are not all filled with supplies. There's really just a few things in each drawer. I find that I can work the best when I don't have too many supplies. I know I have a lot of, it feels weird to say I don't like to have too many supplies, and I understand that I have a lot, but I don't have as many as I could have. I do purge on a regular basis because I get overwhelmed with supplies if I have too many. And so I do like to keep, I would rather have a whole whack of drawers and shelves that are not all that full. Now my paper shelves are fuller than I like them to be right now, so I am about to do a paper purge because it's too much. And it's all papers that I love. I wouldn't buy them if I didn't love them, and I never buy stuff that I don't use. But sometimes I'll just use some of it, and then time passes and I'm getting new stuff because I'm on a design team for a kit club. So there's stuff that keeps coming into my room, and it's hard to keep on top of it when you're just a part-time scrapbooker. Like I have a full-time job. So that's kind of why those shelves are so full. So where was I at? Oh my goodness, I'm really bad at this, you guys. So I do have to have a dehumidifier in here because it's a basement. I don't run it in the winter because the heating system of our house keeps the place dehumidified in the winter. I have a reflector and a tripod here for both doll photography that I do. Look at my badass dolls. These are like the coolest dolls I've ever had. anyhow, I just had to show you that. I'm kind of proud of them. Yeah, so for doll photography, but I also take pictures of my layouts. So I get a lot of questions about how I take pictures of my layouts. So I set up that flash, I stand it right there. I bring that stool over here and I set up the flash right there. And then I have these white pieces of foam board and I just put it right like that. So I put it like that, I put my layout on it, I have the flash kind of pointing down, well, the flash actually points into the reflector, and then the reflector points down, and then I stand on that stool above the layout like this, because I'm short, so I have to stand on a stool to get my camera, because I use a 50 millimeter lens. I think that's right. I don't know I have no clue about photography. The camera's already set on the right settings for the flash, and the flash is already set up for me, so I literally just turn stuff on and take a picture. And so yeah, so that's how I do it. I'm not very good at photography, so I can't give you tips on how to do it. I really had my husband help me set it up, and then I just wrote down the settings so that I could remember it. This stuff here is kids' craft supplies, and it's mostly kind of cast-offs from my scrapbooking stuff, and that's kids craft stuff too. And this whole pegboard, I might have called that chipboard earlier. I always call pegboard chipboard, so I apologize if I confused you when I was talking about the pegboard that was on my walls here and over here. So this is more of my dad's pegboard, and this is 2 panels that are put together with a hinge, and that's the way he had them. And it holds the kids' craft supplies that don't fit in drawers and cupboards right here and here. That's my typewriter. Is that Nixie? Yeah, it's Nixie. My cats are all Siamese, so sometimes it's hard to tell, and through the camera she looks darker than she is in real life. And cleaning herself. Don't mind me. Then I have a sewing table here. So I keep my cutting pad thingy, I don't know what that thing is called, for cutting fabrics. And then I keep an ironing pad here. These things are awesome to have. If you sew, you probably already know about it, but I'm not really a sewer. I just sew kind of on the side, as I don't really know what I'm doing when I sew, but I discovered that these are really cool to have. It's an ironing pad that basically turns this thing into an ironing board so that the heat won't ruin my table, because it just reflects off of that silver surface. And so I have my iron up there. Don't worry, it's not plugged in. It's just the cord dangles. I don't leave it like that. So it's a portable iron so that I can hang it on my chipboard so easily, and it won't like kill somebody if it falls over and hits them, because it's just very lightweight. And I keep a couple of other just sewing related things there. My kids are older now, so they know not to touch those things that are sharp. So it's safe to store them right alongside the kids' stuff. So yeah, I love that. That's like a real lifesaver for me, because I hate the ironing part of sewing, and mostly because I hate having ironing boards. They topple over and they take up a lot of space, and I hate ironing boards. So I love that I can just put this on my table that I already have and just leave it there and iron when I need to iron, and then when I don't need to iron, it's just a surface that I can put stuff on. So my doll collection is right here. Most of my doll collection is right here. The ones that are not witches or ghosts or vampires or whatever. All of the regular human dolls are here. And then I do keep my doll clothes. Again, I like to spread out. So it looks like I've got a ton of doll clothes, but they're just spread out in a lot of different boxes. So I keep them in boxes right there and there. And then that's extra doll furniture. And most of the doll furniture that I have, I've either made or I swipe it from my American Girl doll stuff, because sometimes they're not using everything. So like, for example, they bought that futon with their own money, but then they don't really have room for it in their doll rooms, because their doll rooms aren't very big. So I just borrowed it from them for a photo shoot, and I kept it down here. They take enough of my stuff that I don't feel too bad when I borrow their stuff. So then this table here, this is where Stephanie sits when she comes to visit me. And those are kids' craft supplies right there. My Cameo is on the kids' craft table. I do have a TV and a Blu-ray player. I wish I had Apple TV down here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He put Apple TV down here for me. Is that an Apple? Wait a minute. Is that what I think it is? Boy, I'm glad I do these videos because I wouldn't even know what I have if I didn't. Aww. My husband must have surprised me by putting an Apple TV in there and I didn't even notice it. Oh, now I feel bad. Anyhow, I don't actively watch TV or videos when I'm scrapbooking, but sometimes, especially if I'm doing a big project, like if I'm down here for many hours in a row, I like to play DVDs of music concerts. So I have a Dave Matthews concert, the Radio City Hall. What's that one called? Radio City Hall. Yeah. That one, it's like my favorite concert ever. So I play that one over and over again. And I also will put on like Mamma Mia or old episodes of Glee. I have some DVDs of that. And yeah, now that I have Apple TV, I can put on all kinds of fun old stuff that I don't put on things that I want to actually watch. I just put it on sort of as background noise. And then this is where my video making happens. So I have an iMac that I do all of my video making on, and it's the kind with the big honkin' screen, because look at the screen of that compared to the screen of my TV. I should really just watch TV on this, right? I have my photo printer there and my Blue Yeti mic and pop filter right there. I'm going to get a shock mount, but I just don't have enough money for one yet. So, and then I have some just display stuff. Those are, a lot of those wooden things are things that my dad made. And then there's some mini albums in that bowl up there. And that's a piece of artwork that my PhD supervisor gave me for graduating when I defended my thesis. And then this is a really old desk that came from my husband's family. It's been passed down from kid to kid and then across generations too. And so I think it was Bompy's desk, and then it was Paula's desk, and then it was somebody else's desk, and eventually it became Glenna's desk, and now it's my desk. And so I love this desk. I need to get, I was thinking about refinishing it, but I actually really love that it's old and worn and stained and that sort of thing. So I think I'm just going to get some oil because it gets a little dried out because I run the dehumidifier in here a lot, and it's just old. The wood is quite dried out. So I think I'm just going to oil it to condition the wood a little bit to get, so that it doesn't get more damaged. But I really love the big, it's so deep, like look at how deep it is. And so all of the drawers in it are super deep. You can actually put extra stuff in the back and still use the front parts of the drawers. So I really love that about them. And this drawer here is really big. And you can put things like, ooh, my secret stash of candy. And you can put like this Stampin' Up! Grid paper and I keep all of my extra Cameo mats and that sort of thing in here. And then in the front I just have batteries and stuff. And Cameo accessory. This is a Cricut accessory, but like these sorts of things for getting stuff off of my die cut machine. So in these drawers, I'm not even going to open them for you because they're boring, but that one has camera supplies in my camera bag for photo shoots, mostly with my dolls, because I don't really take photos of my family. I take pictures of my family on my phone, and that's what I scrapbook usually. And this is just like camera cords and stuff for my computer. And then that is like post-it notes and paper clips and staplers and that sort of thing. This is Erin Condren stuff. So my planner, which I keep out. I use my planner as a planner. I don't really decorate it very much, but I keep it out and it kind of keeps me on track. And then in the very bottom I have some lomography camera stuff in there, so like film for film cameras. And I have these two cameras here, which I sometimes use. It's sort of a hobby that I thought I would take up and then I didn't. So sometimes those cameras are, like I've loaned them to people and like they get a bit of use, but not a whole lot. I don't use them a whole lot. I used them for a while and then I stopped. Like a lot of hobbies, you don't keep up with every single thing. Then I do have a closet here that holds a lot of out of season and just extra stuff. So it's typical messy closet. I'd like to put more storage in here, but I actually don't really need more storage. Like I've kind of spread myself out around my room and I don't need that much more. But so these two bottom drawers, that one has card stuff, like card making kits from back when I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and someday I might use them. And then that one has extra stuff, like if Glossy Accents goes on sale and I buy 3 bottles, I'll put the other 2 in there. Same with Stampin' Up! Dimensionals and that sort of thing. Then this Jetmax Cube, which has a drawer and a shelf, this one, the drawer has Halloween stuff kind of like stored like this with these dividers, and I modify my drawers. So this drawer was supposed to have like little cells in it, like crisscross, and I just put it together so that it's more rectangular dividers instead of little tiny square cubes. And I just put my Halloween stamps and embellishments and stuff like that in here, and then I keep my Halloween paper on this shelf. And I don't have a ton of, my Halloween stuff is very old. I haven't bought Halloween stuff in forever. I find it doesn't really go out of style. It's always the same color schemes and the same kinds of emblems and stuff, like imagery. Same with Christmas. So I do the same thing with Christmas stuff. I keep my Christmas stamps and Christmas embellishments and little knickknacks and stuff I might use on Christmas layouts, and even my Christmas punches I keep here, just because I don't need them out on my punch rails all the time, and I don't need them in with my, if I'm doing a Christmas layout, I will be, or card, I will be coming to this drawer, so it might as well all be here. And then this is supposed to be just Christmas paper. I've got a stocking stuffer kit from a long time ago, and in with it is a Christmas kit from last year that I used up, but I didn't use all of it. So I just put any Scraptastic related Christmas stuff I put in this bag here. And I have a couple of Christmas collections and Christmas things here that I just have here because it fits there. And then I keep bags right here, including my Thickers bags and little old bags from Studio Calico. Oh, here's Nixie coming to see my closet. And these bags that I use for, these are those Avery bags for putting stamps in and stuff like that. So, all right. So now you've seen the overall room and how it's set up. So maybe this is a good stopping point and I can now go into more detail. So if this is all you want to see, then you can just kind of only watch this video. Then if you want to see more detail, go ahead and watch some of the next videos on my channel. So if this is where I'm saying goodbye to you, have a great scrappy week. And for those of you who are joining me on the next video, see you over there.